Good news, the Switch 2 can work with third-party docks and webcams. Bad news, only after they get new firmware that basically mimics Nintendo's secret handshake. Verge confirmed it. Elgato's Facecam now defaults to 480p video just to keep Nintendo happy. Avermedia and Viture even reprogrammed their docks to send the exact same proprietary signals as the official one. So yeah, your stuff might work if it's been surgically modified to speak fluent Nintendo. Like and follow if your dock just failed a compatibility quiz.
What's going on, dudes? It's your boy Andy Matrix. I'm back on Angry Guys YouTube channel. And boy, oh boy, the controversies with Nintendo never stop. I mean, the party just keeps going and going and going and going. And the greed, they keep getting more and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy. There's no stopping it. There's no stopping. Honestly, I've started to look at the bright side of this. I started to look at the bright side of Nintendo's greed. Like, how much worse are they going to get to the point where people are going to be like, you know what, I'm out of here. I am done with Nintendo. I am done. I honestly can't see, I honestly can't wait and see how much more worse Nintendo can get to the point where they just start pushing people away. I mean, it's already happening. But, yeah, like, for how long can they keep this up, this trend, this Nintendo controversy? Because thus far it's been like day after day, there's like something new about Nintendo. But anyways, guys, it's your boy Andy Matrix. If you haven't heard of me, you can go ahead and check me out at Andrew Matrix Gaming. That is my YouTube channel where I talk about anime, gaming, Japanese culture. If you're into those things, make sure to find my link in the description. Thank you very much. And guys, make sure to follow Angry Guy on Rumble because YouTube has become the censor station and there's more freedom on Rumble. So go ahead and check that out. Angry Guy's uploading his videos up there on Rumble. He's got some new content, so go ahead and check that out. Link is in the description for Rumble. And don't let the elites tell you that you'll be happy and that you'll own nothing and be happy. Okay, protect your future with cryptocurrency. And Angry Guys got a guide, the Crypto Academy. It will show you which coins to pick, how to buy and sell crypto, how to day trade crypto. Okay, and how to make a profit off of crypto before everything becomes just too expensive. Now, imagine giving away your rights to a corporation. Okay, imagine having no freedom to customize the device that you spend money on. I can't believe this is happening, but people are actually agreeing with Nintendo or just letting Nintendo have its way with breaking third-party devices.
Good news, the Switch 2 can work with third-party docks and webcams. Bad news, only after they get new firmware that basically mimics Nintendo's secret handshake. Verge confirmed it. Elgato's Facecam now defaults to 480p video just to keep Nintendo happy. Avermedia and Viture even reprogrammed their docks to send the exact same proprietary signals as the official one. So yeah, your stuff might work if it's been surgically modified to speak fluent Nintendo. Like and follow if your dock just failed a compatibility quiz.
Nintendo is locking third-party docks for the Nintendo Switch 2, which we're going to test out because I have some third-party docks, but Nintendo is restricting the Switch 2's USB-C port. Most third-party docks and accessories won't work thanks to proprietary protocols. So in short, third-party docks are locked out. So first off, we can get into this a little bit, but basically Nintendo has intentionally implemented measures to restrict third-party accessories, including docks, hubs, and other accessories from working with the new Switch 2. Now, it just so happens I have a third-party dock right here, which you can see. It is Nintendo Switch. Worked with the OG and the OLED. Let's see if it works with the Switch 2 right now. So you can see I plugged this in right here. This is going to go right here. This is the USB-C part. And then you're going to see the HDMI. You're going to see that it is charging, but it's not popping up on the TV. As we know, the Nintendo Switch 2 does have two different ports, so we will try the top one as well, which again, it is charging. It doesn't work. So yes, that is confirmed, not debunked. Third-party docks, especially the ones I have, will not work with the Switch 2. Honestly, that's just more disappointing news about the Switch 2. I did test a couple other ones. Even a USB-C to HDMI still didn't work. So share with your friends. Make sure you're not buying any third party as of yet. Comment right there, follow right there, double click my face.
Breaking third-party devices. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Okay, it used to be that, let's say you bought a, I don't know, you would buy a console like a Game Boy, and then you buy a third-party device like a light or a charger for your Game Boy or something like that, or your Nintendo DS. You will plug it into your console, and it will still work. Nintendo has had a history of working with third-party devices. They've always had. But recently, they're saying, nope, they're giving the middle finger to third-party companies, making devices for the Nintendo Switch 2. How dare them? How dare them do that without giving money to Nintendo? Come on. And this is what it's all about. See, Nintendo's now breaking third-party devices such as alternative chargers, controllers made by other companies that work for the Nintendo Switch, and other types of devices. Nintendo could potentially burn them. Yeah. You heard that. Nintendo could potentially burn them because the device is quote-unquote incompatible with Nintendo. So they have found a way, they have found a type of programming where, like, if you use a type of device that is incompatible, even if it is compatible, but if Nintendo did not create that device, then guess what? Nintendo can break that device. Nintendo can break that device, or you're gonna have to lower the resolution. Like if you got a webcam to attach to the Switch, you gotta lower the resolution of the webcam, some shit like that, some nonsense like that. I mean, doesn't Nintendo know that we're living in the era of freaking, what is it, 4K, 8K, graphics and resolution? But they want to push you back to the dinosaur age of 480, 420, 720, 480 resolution. That's what they want to push you towards, and they don't care. They don't give a shit. They don't care. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Fratanga explain it to us. And when he's done, please throw some tacos at him. He'll appreciate it. Hit it!
At this point, it should be pretty obvious Nintendo hates the user. They like the green that you bleed, but if they could have the green without your needs, oh boy, would they love that. I mean, then again, what corporation wouldn't? The whole end goal of all these companies is to get users that don't ask questions and just consume product until the next one comes around. That's just business 101. It's not exclusive to Nintendo. However, Nintendo definitely goes a step above what other companies are willing to do. Oftentimes, that comes from how protective they are of their own products. They are so protective to the point that, in their minds, you're not supposed to actually own the system. You're just supposed to play it and buy things on it. You want to tamper with it and turn it into your own personal device that you paid for? Think again, because Nintendo is restricting the Switch 2's USB port. Yeah. Even the USB port on your Switch 2 is restricted access. You see, Nintendo doesn't want you using third-party docks or accessories that won't work, and that's thanks to proprietary protocols put in place. I know most of you are thinking to yourself, well, Frit, I'm not buying a Switch 2 to turn it into my own personal device. I want to buy a Switch 2 to have access to Nintendo's games and throw them money. I am okay with surrendering my consumer rights over if it means I get to finally play a Donkey Kong game or a Mario Kart game that took longer to come out than the truth about P. Diddy. And I'll say, Nintendo guys are awfully patient and tolerant of this company. Then again, most people have been waiting an eternity for a new GTA, so if Nintendo keeps people waiting, what's the harm? You can play Mario Kart for 12 years before the next one. This news comes to us from the YouTube channel UFD Tech, who put out a short covering it, and thank God he kept it short, because it's my job to stretch out the news, not his. Either way, let's see what Malcolm in the Middle's brother has to say.
Instead of just using normal USB details to transmit input, video signal, and power, Nintendo decided to implement over 30 different proprietary signal handshakes with the Switch 2 that are there to make sure to ward off any unsanctioned docks. It's leading to major accessory makers having their devices be unreliable because they built theirs thinking the Red Luigi folks would use a sensible, common way of implementing the USB port. Currently, there's only one dock that's been tested and confirmed to imitate these Nintendo handshakes, but that's immediately at risk of not working if and when they decide to do a firmware update and block it out.
You know, a lot of people ask why. Why treat the customer this way? Why? Because fuck them, that's why.
Of course, Nintendo would do that. And it's obvious why. I mean, if you want to go and buy a Switch 2 dock, it's $120. $120 for cheap plastic with a little fan. So Nintendo has all the reason in the world, well, at least to themselves anyway, to ensure that third-party docks cannot touch tips with your Switch 2. You have any idea how much money they probably make off these things? It probably costs them no more than a bowl of ramen to manufacture these. That's how much they desperately want to lock you solely into their ecosystem, into their market. You see, USB-C is usually universal, and most people expect that, oh, if there's a USB-C port on this thing, I should be able to plug most things into it. Not if you have a Switch 2. If you have a Switch 2, the USB-C port on it is literally designed to solely work with whatever Nintendo has programmed, and it performs authentication checks to verify the legitimacy of whatever you're connecting to it. So if they don't approve of it, if you want to use something cheaper than the stupidly overpriced Switch 2 dock, you're not going to be able to, because that's just how greedy this fucking company is. They don't want cheap third-party accessories to exist at all. Accessory manufacturers claim Nintendo Switch 2 has encryption that break third-party docks. According to a report from The Verge, Nintendo Switch 2 has a new encryption scheme and some form of dedicated encryption chip which has broken third-party docking. The console, of course, comes with its own dock. However, as The Verge points out, Nintendo has also broken compatibility with portable docks that you can take on vacation or to your hotel room, and with video glasses like the X-Real One. The site's report is based on what two accessory manufacturers claim. The USB-C PD traffic was also analyzed with the Power Z tester, which shows that Nintendo Switch 2 isn't acting the way it should. Attempting to use the console with a third-party dock or hub may refuse to negotiate power or bring about other issues. Switch 2 seems to talk in code that only Nintendo can decipher, whereas USB-C devices tend to operate on standardized set of instructions. All of this has led to a death of third-party docks for Nintendo Switch 2. JSOX, which was planning one for the system, has now paused its plans. One dock that does work, at least for now, is the Antec S3 Max, since it appears to speak Nintendo's language. Xreal actually intends to come out with a new Neo device later this year for docking. JSOX believes Nintendo could come out with firmware updates that could further impact third-party docks, though Antax says it could distribute firmware updates for its own dock. Personally, I would not take the risk of any third-party dock on your Switch 2. I mean, I would love if people did that to rub it in Nintendo's face, but it's not worth sacrificing your Switch 2 because when the Switch 1 released, there was a lot of compatibility issues because of Nintendo that resulted in some devices getting fried trying to use third-party docks. And believe me, it's all intentional. Like, Nintendo doesn't care what happens to your device. If you didn't buy or hand them money to do it their way, they see it as fair punishment, which is exactly why people's devices are being bricked. Now, I don't see any reports about using these devices leading to any bricking, and I highly doubt they will brick you for this because it doesn't involve anything illegal and it doesn't involve anything that could potentially lead to piracy, but it is unauthorized. And those that do work have only been able to do it because they bypass Nintendo's measures with a firmware update.
That is right. That is right. I mean, I don't understand why people will still want to get a Nintendo Switch 2. Why are some people still defending the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo themselves? You know, why do people still... Why are people so in love with Nintendo? Like, I know it's your childhood, you know, they make your childhood video games, but they're not the end-all be-all. For Christ's sake, go outside and touch grass. And while you're at it, make sure to check out the Crypto Academy. It's in the description. The link is in the description. Angry Guy's going to teach you how to buy and sell crypto, how to make a profit off of crypto, how to day trade crypto. It's going to show you which coins to choose. You know, personally, I have invested into XRP due to the banking system. I think it's a good choice. But there's many other choices where you can like profit off of cryptocurrency. So anyway, click the link in the description. Check out the Crypto Academy.
Hey guys, in a world pushing you to own nothing and be happy, crypto is your key to survival. Join Angry's Crypto Academy to master buying, selling, and trading crypto. Make huge profits and safeguard your wealth. Plus, discover the one crypto virtually no one is talking about, poised to create new millionaires in the upcoming bull run. The link is in the description of the video below. Go check it out now.
Now let's move on. Okay, so, you know, the original Nintendo Switch from 2017 had many third-party devices. Many. Talking from chargers, lights, you know, holders, bags. They created, you know, there's third-party companies that created accessories that were, like, much better than what Nintendo provided you. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is that Nintendo doesn't want people to buy these third-party devices because they're not making money off of that. They're not making money off of that. So they don't want you to buy that. So this is their way of combating that, right? So when you get a separate charger for your Nintendo Switch 2 or a separate docking station for it, don't be surprised when it stops working. Do not be surprised when it stops working. You know, Nintendo has become so greedy, they don't even want to team up with third-party companies, and it is unbeneficial. It actually does not serve them. Because if people feel like, if people cannot enjoy the device that they have, like buying things for the device, then that actually hurts Nintendo. See, they don't understand what they're doing. They just think, oh, well, they should just buy the device and buy the things that we provide them. But there's the third-party companies, they produce accessories that are much better. You know? That's what Nintendo refuses to acknowledge. Or, you know what? No, let me take that back. They do acknowledge that, just that they don't care. The way they see it is, give us your money. Give us your money. Do not buy from other companies. Give us your money. You're going to give us your money, whether you like it or not. But Nintendo doesn't want to compete. They don't want competition. This is a very, very, very American way of doing things. This is why I was arguing a couple of videos back that Nintendo is now an American company. And not that they were created in America, but the mentality. The mentality of an American company is just get rid of the competition. Have no competition so that you'll be the only one that profits. That is the good old American way. Oh, it's kind of embarrassing, you know. It's kind of embarrassing, but it's true. It's true. That's what a lot of American companies do. That's what families like the Rothschilds, the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, you know, those big families, you know, in the Illuminati. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there, but yeah. Let's not. You guys understand what I'm saying, right? Right? It's an American strategy of getting rid of the competition so that nobody else will take your profits. Anyways, let's go ahead and dig in. Let's let Fritanga finish his stuff.
Now, while it's not against the law, it still states in the EULA for Switch 2, bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of the console or the software, including through the use of any hardware or software that would cause the console or the software to operate with any unauthorized, illegal, or pirated software or hardware. And that's exactly what these manufacturers of third-party dock devices are doing. They are bypassing quote-unquote protections, and they are decrypting and modifying Nintendo's authentication process in order to even make it possible to somewhat work with your Switch 2. And I couldn't imagine that this loophole is going to last much longer. Mainly because The Verge can't keep their fucking mouths shut and are reporting what works after what firmware updates, and all of that info is locked behind a paywall, per usual, because it's The Verge. But once Nintendo catches wind of this, I'm pretty confident they are going to do another update that will make it even harder for third-party docks to exist. Hell, with how strict they're going, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to penalize people even more for trying to do this. Because right now, as far as I know, Nintendo's probably not even aware of it yet. And of course, these measures in place have made it a headache for people wanting to get third-party docks, because there's several reasons why you would want one. A, there's a lot of them that are cheaper, and B, there are docks that are far more portable and easier to take with you, so you don't have to bring the standard Switch dock. Because for some reason, billion-dollar Nintendo, with all their research and development at their expense, just can't come up with a more sufficient and portable and easy to carry portable dock for people who are constantly on the go traveling. Rather than embrace third-party options, it would seem they're putting measures in place to make third-party accessories more difficult to produce and less compatible, because a lot of these third-party docks that exist are having issues where they cannot output proper HDR in the 4K mode. Some are only able to get a charge and no actual output. Others are having severe latency issues, and basically every third-party dock that worked with the Switch 1 is not working with the Switch 2, and one can't help but feel it's all definitely done by Nintendo on purpose. Nintendo prides itself with consumer convenience, but not from third-party devices, which leads to that consumer convenience actually not being so convenient. Well, Fred, they're just looking out for the consumers. I mean, why do you think they put a fan in the Switch 2 dock? Because they know it needs to protect the Switch 2 from overheating, dumbass. No, the Switch 2 dock does not cool the console itself. That fan is to keep the internals of the dock cool. It serves a whole other purpose. Even then, cheap 3D printed plastic with a little cheap, shitty ATX fan is something most people can make and sell for far less than $120. You're not paying for safety measures. You're just paying more because it's a Nintendo branded dock. The truth is, a lot of these third-party manufacturers have figured out much more clever ways of creating devices that are more convenient for travel than what Nintendo has provided. And because Nintendo doesn't believe in competition, as we've seen with Power World, they just go out of their way to make it harder for third-party manufacturers to create something that's a lot more appealing, efficient, and cost-effective. And who pays the price for that? Consumers. But luckily for you, I've been keeping up to date with this for a while, and for those of you that own a Switch 2, and you don't want to hand Nintendo $120 for an extra Switch 2 dock, which is absolutely absurd, considering how cheap the goddamn thing is to even make, I have an update that's actually somewhat good news, somewhat concerning, but information is information, and I want to make sure you have it, because any dollar you can save on overpriced plastic is what I'm here for. See, The Verge, God, I hate using them. I mean, the same people that put out one of the worst PC build guide videos that could have caused multiple fires across the country have experimented with some firmware updates that bypass what Nintendo has put in place. And the devices that they've gotten to function properly, somewhat, so far, include the AverMedia Elite Go GC313 Pro, AverMedia Core Go GC313 compact charger docks, the Elgato Facecam MK.2 webcam, and the Virtue Pro mobile dock. The firmware update should be pretty quick and easy to install. It's going to require a computer, of course. But personally, these aren't really devices I would go for because one of them is more expensive than the Switch 2 dock and one of them isn't that much cheaper. I think what most people are waiting for is the day a third-party device that will allow you to dock Switch 1, Switch 2, and the Steam Deck all at once, which is definitely in demand. Someone somewhere out there will eventually make it, but the problem comes with Nintendo's greediness. Nobody knows if Nintendo is going to update to block these accessories. Right now, the only way they work is by fooling the Switch 2 into thinking they're official. And that right there could cause Nintendo to potentially brick your device, as it does technically go against their EULA. And that is actually quite the concern. As of now, there's no update on that. We don't know how Nintendo is going to get along with these third-party manufacturers, but one begins to wonder, is it even worth buying a third-party accessory like this if down the line they release an update to outright block it and potentially brick your system?
That is right, everybody. This is only the beginning. You know, more and more companies are going to be doing this. More and more companies will become more greedy. I mean, you see it with the layoffs. I mean, you probably seen on YouTube and on Twitch. I mean, not Twitch, on TikTok, whatever social media. The amount of layoffs. I mean, Microsoft has done over 10,000 layoffs. You know, Google, Intel, the delivery industry, UPS, USPS, retail, restaurants. A lot of these companies, one of the reasons why they're doing all these layoffs is because it's not that they don't have money. It's not that they don't have money, because, I mean, take a look at, what was it? Like Nvidia. Nvidia has reached a $4 trillion market cap, yet they were still laying people off. The problem is that they don't want to, they want to work with smaller teams. You understand? They want to work with a smaller group of people. They don't want to have, 20,000 employees. Maybe they want to have like 900 employees instead. So I don't know, man. I don't feel so cool about the tech industry. I was gonna try getting a job in the tech industry, but now I'm just like, you know what? Maybe not. It's getting harder and harder out there. But the corporations are just getting greedy. They want to keep more money to themselves, hire less people, and yeah, that's their strategy. And more companies are gonna do the same thing. They're gonna prevent, third-party devices so that they can, so that people will have to go straight to the corporations, and buy the products made directly from the corporations. So, customers the customers being treated like a second-class citizenship because the money is now the priority. It's not satisfying the customers to get the money. It's just, nope. The customer is going to do what we say. They're going to consume what we tell them to consume. And, we are prioritizing profits over everything. Corpos don't even think about you anymore. Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to comment below, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for future notifications. Everybody, is your boy, Andy Matrix. Godspeed, baby.